The video begins with a blurry subway platform and the sound of a train screaming through the tunnel, and in the center of the frame stands a young woman holding a thick leather wallet above her head while strangers stare at her as if she has just done something extraordinary. And within hours, the internet crowns her a hero for returning a lost wallet full of cash to its owner, praising her honesty, calling her rare, calling her pure, calling her everything good in a world that feels broken. But what no one sees in that short viral clip is the way her fingers tremble before she lifts the wallet. The way her jaw tightens as if she is swallowing something painful. The way her eyes flicker, not with pride, but with fear. Because this moment is not simple for her. It is not just kindness. It is not just morality. It is a battle that has been waiting for years beneath her skin. And as the crowd claps and someone records and the grateful owner hugs her in relief, she feels the weight of another memory pressing against her chest like a stone. A memory of a different day, a different wallet, a different choice, one she has never confessed to anyone. And while millions of strangers share her face and write comments about integrity and goodness, there is a secret moving quietly behind the scenes. A secret that threatens to turn admiration into outrage in a single heartbeat, because sometimes the people we celebrate the loudest are the ones running from the darkest chapters of their own story. And sometimes an act of honesty is not born from purity but from guilt, so sharp it cuts through the years. And as the camera zooms in on her calm expression and the owner thanks her again and again, what the world does not understand is that this is not the first time she has held someone else's future in her hands. And the last time she made a different decision, one that still echoes in her mind when she tries to sleep at night, one that changed a stranger's life in ways she can never undo. And now as her name trends and reporters begin to search for her background and curious viewers dig through old photos and forgotten posts, something else begins to surface. A whisper in the comment section, a message from someone who remembers more than they should, someone who was there years ago when she was younger and desperate and made a choice that still stains her conscience, and the celebration that feels warm and bright on the outside slowly starts to feel fragile, like glass about to crack. Because fame has a way of shining light into places that were meant to stay dark, and the very platform where she became a hero may soon become the stage where her hidden past steps forward, forcing everyone to question whether redemption erases a mistake or simply hides it until the world is watching closely enough to see the truth. The applause started with a single clap, then another, then a wave of sound that rolled across the subway platform like thunder. Maya stood frozen under the flickering fluorescent lights. Her fingers still trembled from the cold metal bench she had been gripping moments before. The smell of damp concrete and old rain hung heavy in the air. Someone held a phone inches from her face. The red recording light blinked like a warning. She forced a small smile. Her lips felt dry. Her heart beat so loudly she feared the microphone would catch it. Minutes earlier, she had been sitting alone on that bench, watching strangers rush past, hearing the distant screech of trains slicing through tunnels. Then she saw it, a thick leather wallet lying near the edge of the platform, unattended, exposed, tempting. She had looked around. No one seemed to notice. The crowd moved in restless waves, shoes scraping, voices blending into noise. Her stomach tightened. Her rent was 3 weeks overdue. The electricity in her apartment had already been shut off once this month. She could almost feel the cold darkness of her room pressing against her mind. The wallet lay there like a test, heavy with promise or danger. She picked it up. The leather was soft, expensive. Inside were crisp bills, stacks of them. Her breath caught in her throat. There were credit cards, an identification card, a photograph of a little girl with missing front teeth, and a wide smile.
Look at this.
Maya stared at that photo longer than she meant to. The girl looked about 6 years old. Bright eyes, pink backpack straps visible over her shoulders, and Thimti. A sudden ache spread across Maya's chest. She remembered her own childhood. Empty cupboards, silent nights, her mother whispering reassurances that never matched reality. The train roared into the station. Wind whipped her hair across her face. She could step onto the train. Keep the wallet. No one would know. Keep the wallet. No one would. The door slid open with a mechanical sigh. Passengers spilled out. More rushed in. The moment narrowed. Her pulse pounded in her ears. She stepped back from the train, and she raised the wallet high above her head. She called out the name on the identification card. Her voice cracked. A man pushed through the crowd, his face pale, his eyes wide with panic. He looked at the wallet, then at her. Relief flooded his features so suddenly it almost looked painful. He thanked her again and again. His hands shook as he took it back. Someone nearby whispered that this kind of honesty was rare. Another person began recording. Within hours, the video was everywhere. Millions of views, comments praising her integrity, strangers calling her an angel, a hero, an example for the world. They saw her calm expression. They saw the simple act of kindness. They did not see the storm behind her eyes. They did not see what happened after the cameras stopped. That night, she returned to her apartment. The hallway smelled of burnt dust and stale cooking oil. The lights flickered as she climbed the stairs. Her door creaked open to darkness. She did not turn on the light. There was no electricity. The room felt smaller than usual. The silence pressed in. Ikentas name. Her phone buzzed again and again with notifications, praise, offers for interviews, messages from strangers promising small donations. She sat on the cold floor. The thin carpet scratched her palms. Tears slid down her cheeks. She had done the right thing. She believed that, yet the emptiness inside her did not fade. The next morning, reporters gathered outside her building. Flashbulbs popped like tiny explosions. They asked how she felt. They asked why she chose honesty. She gave simple answers. She said it was the right thing to do. She said anyone would have done the same, but that was not true. Not everyone would have felt what she felt when she opened that wallet. Not everyone would have stood on that platform battling a secret that clawed at their chest, because what no one knew was that she had once taken a wallet before. Years ago, when she was 16, hungry, desperate, alone, she had kept the money. She had convinced herself it was survival. 2 days later, she saw a missing person flyer taped to a lamppost. The face on the flyer was the same man whose wallet she had taken. He had been searching for his identification to board a bus, trying to reach his dying mother in another city. He never made it in time. Maya had never told anyone. She had carried that guilt like a stone in her pocket, heavy, cold, constant. When she saw the wallet on the subway platform, the memory came rushing back with brutal clarity. The smell of ink on the old flyer, the hollow look in the man's eyes from the photograph, the knowledge that a small decision had changed someone's final goodbye. Standing there under the harsh lights, she had not just been choosing honesty. She had been fighting her past. Now the world celebrated her redemption without knowing the crime that required it. Late that evening, her phone rang from an unknown number. She hesitated before answering. A soft voice spoke on the other end. It was the little girl from the photograph. Her father had shown her the video. And Ed hasn't tasing his head. She wanted to say thank you. Her words were bright and innocent. Each one struck Maya's heart like a bell. After the call ended, the room felt unbearably quiet. She looked around at the peeling paint, the cracked window, the unpaid bills stacked on the table, and she realized something unsettling. The video had made her visible, too visible, because buried deep in the comment section, among praise and admiration, was a message that made her blood run cold. A single line from an anonymous account. It read, "I remember you." Maya stared at the screen as the words seemed to grow larger. Her breathing became shallow. Her fingers trembled. Another notification appeared, a private message. It contained a photograph, an old photograph, of a missing person flyer taped to a lamppost. Her heart slammed against her ribs. The caption beneath the image read, "We need to talk." The air in the room felt suddenly thin. The walls seemed to close in. Her past was not buried. It had been waiting, watching. And now, as millions praised her honesty, the one person who knew her secret had stepped out of the shadows. Her phone buzzed again, this time with a location, a place she recognized immediately, the same subway platform where it all began. The night she returns to the same subway platform, the air feels heavier than before, thick with the smell of metal and rain, as if the city itself remembers what happened there, and every sound seems sharper. The distant rumble of trains, the echo of footsteps, the hollow drip of water from the ceiling. And when she sees a figure standing beneath the flickering light at the far end of the platform, her breath slows and her heartbeat grows louder, because she already knows who it must be. The one person who sent the photograph, the one person who wrote that chilling line. And as she walks closer, the fluorescent light reveals an older face marked by time and grief, eyes that carry recognition without warmth. And in that silent stare, she understands that this moment is not about exposure or revenge, but about something far more uncomfortable, truth. And when he finally speaks, his voice is calm yet heavy, explaining that years ago a lost wallet meant a missed bus, and a missed bus meant a final goodbye that never happened. And he says he searched for answers not out of hatred but out of confusion, trying to understand how a small act could ripple into something so permanent, and the words settle between them like dust. because she cannot defend herself. She cannot rewrite the past. She can only stand there feeling the cold tile beneath her shoes and the weight of her own breathing. And then she tells him everything, not with excuses, but with honesty, about hunger, about fear, about the shame she carried every day since, about how returning the recent wallet was not an attempt to look good, but a desperate need to face the part of herself she once tried to ignore. And the silence that follows feels endless, stretching across the platform like the dark tunnel behind them, until he finally nods slowly, not in forgiveness but in acknowledgement.
This urgent medical report details severe complications.
People can choose what they become after
It confirms a
and as
high-risk
another
condition.
train rushes past them with a blast of wind that whips her hair across her face, she feels something shift inside her chest, not relief, not absolution, but a fragile understanding that redemption is not about erasing the past, but confronting it without running. And when she turns to leave, she notices a few strangers glancing at her, unaware of the conversation that just unfolded, unaware that the viral hero they admired just stood face to face with her own mistake. And as she climbs the stairs toward the street, the night air feels sharp but clean against her skin, and she realizes that the world may continue to argue about whether she deserves praise or blame. Yet the real story was never about the wallet. It was about the courage to stand where you once failed and choose differently while knowing the cost of both choices.
We need to find the doctor.
And as her phone
now.
vibrates again with new notifications, she does not look at the screen, because for the first time the applause no longer matters. What matters is that when she stood once more on that platform, she did not hide, she did not deny, she did not turn away, and in that quiet decision, unseen by cameras and untouched by viral headlines, she begins the slow and uncomfortable path of becoming someone who no longer needs to run from her own reflection.